Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to continue reading, or to provide another reading from the Sermon on the Mount. It's exquisitely beautiful. And I especially appreciate the Yonan Codex Foundation's translation of the Khabouris manuscript. The Khabouris manuscript was found, a manuscript written in Aramaic. Okay? And the translation is very, very good. They try to stay as close as possible to the nuances of the original Aramaic language. And so I'm reading from the Khabouris manuscript, and the Sermon on the Mount begins thusly. When Jesus saw the crowds, he ascended the mount, and when he was seated, his disciples drew near to him. He began speaking and teaching them and said, "A heavenly attitude is theirs, those whose home is in Ruka." Ruka means the Spirit, or Holy Spirit. Theirs is a heavenly state. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those mourning their wrongs, they shall be comforted. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those with humility, they will gain the earth. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those who hunger and thirst for justice, they shall attain it. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those whose love is without conditions, they will therefore receive unconditional love. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those without fault in their minds, they will see God. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those serving the peace of God, they will be called the children of God. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those being scorned because of their justness, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The heavenly attitude is yours when they harass you and scorn you and deceitfully speak against you every evil because of being with me. Rejoice, be happy, be joyful at the increase of your reward in heaven, for in such manner were harassed the prophets before you. Okay? A heavenly attitude. Well, I want to talk about the heavenly attitude. And Christ also said, they also translated, it says, a heavenly attitude is theirs, those whose home is in the Spirit. Theirs is a heavenly state. Okay? Let's bring it all down to the moment. You see, it's in the moment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but in the moment. When there is a razor's edge between this heavenly attitude or heavenly state and the other. See, there's a heavenly state and then there's the other. But what is the other? The other is where you are most of the time. If you're like 99% of people. Okay. Unless you're on the way back. Unless you found the key to returning to this heavenly attitude. See, what happens is that when you react to something on the outside, when something captures your attention, when something begins to pulls you into it for just a little bit even, you get pulled in, you get involved with something or someone, it pulls you into an altered state of reality, an altered relationship with reality. It pulls you into a different state of mind. You could call it a trance or a hypnotic state of mind. The state of mind where you're temporarily caught up in something. Have you ever had, and I know you have, I mean, I'll just give one little example. There are all so many different ones. You have to understand the principle and then fit it to your own life. But you can be driving down the freeway, and you get lost in thinking about something. And then you drive right past the exit you were supposed to take. Or you're out driving and thinking about something, and then all of a sudden you snap out of it and you don't remember how you got where you got. You don't remember all the lights and the signs and the turns, and you don't remember them. That's how out of it you were. Okay? Well, being lost, see, being lost in thinking. See, the memory in which you're lost of what happened today, what somebody said, what somebody did, what she said, what he said. See, when you replay it in your mind, well, all you're doing is replaying the memory of something that you got caught up in. See, something that pulled you in. So you know how people get pulled into a movie? They get all caught up in the movie. Or you know how people get pulled into music. Okay, they're not there anymore. You know how people get pulled into a conversation? It's really obvious when you see people involved in a phone call, iPhone conversation on their iPhone. You see, they're totally into the conversation, and they're not even. It's like they're not there anymore. They're so lost in it. Or have you seen two people having an argument? They're totally lost in the argument. Okay? It's like two people that are boxing. Everything else is gone, and that's all they're thinking about are two people playing tennis. See? Well, that's not good. See, we laud that sort of thing. Oh, he concentrates really well and so forth, but it's not a good thing. Okay? Or how about people who are lost in study? They're so lost in it. Well, then you see that then with people who have some kind of you see people with like ADD, and what happens is that they are caught up from one thing to another. They're caught up in this, and then something else captures their attention, and they're caught up in that, and then something. But you know, we're all that way. It's like we all have ADD, okay? Because that's how we spend our day. We get pulled in. But here's the important thing I want to make you aware of. When you are pulled into something, when you're involved with something, see, how about somebody that's in love? They're just totally involved with this person. And even if you try to tell them, you say, he's no good. He's no good. Okay? He's married, or he's got another girlfriend or something. They won't listen. They don't want to hear, they're so caught up with that person, see? And of course that also goes for someone who's in hate. Someone who hates someone, like a woman who hates her husband. All she can do is notice every little thing that he does, and she's totally caught up in judging everything he does, you see. Well, so now you got the idea. But let's keep it real simple. We don't have to go to extremes of being lost, being in love, and being lost in a tennis match or anything like that. We keep it very simple. We just talk about the moment. When something captures your attention, then if you react or respond to it emotionally at all, then you're involved with it. And that involvement is the altered state of consciousness, the altered state of mind. It's the alternative to the heavenly state Christ talked about. When you're lost in a phone conversation, when you're lost in music, when you're lost in a movie, when you're lost in arguing with someone, when you're lost in thinking about what happened. See, when you're lost in anything, when you're lost in your food while you're eating, you're lost in it. When you're lost in surfing the internet or lost in studying, you are not in the heavenly state that Christ talked about. Okay? Now you see it's a blessed state. Now, you do not realize just how, see, a lot of people, for example, the slightest upset, see, you're lucky if you notice it. You're lucky if you notice that you were lost in something, because at least that way you have some awareness. you can get lost in one thing. Somebody says something and you react to it. It's upsetting to you, or somebody's almost going to bump into you, and so you're a little bit upset by it, and then you bang your hand, or you stumble on the curb, you see, or something, because you were so. I'm sure you've had that experience where something gets to you and then you make a mistake. Okay, you see how you weren't totally there, you weren't totally aware. Or another one, you're caught up with something, and then somebody sneaks up on you and says something to you, and it startles you. See, because you were so caught up in that. That is not the heavenly state. If you want to call it something, you could call it the hypnotic state. Okay. Now, what happens is that as we go through the day, many times, dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of times during the day, we're temporarily gone. We're caught up in this, caught up in that, something we hear, something we see, something we think about. We're caught up in it. And when you are caught up, you're not totally there, so you don't have full awareness to meet the next moment. See? And so you meet the next moment poorly. And then it doesn't work out quite right. And then if you resent that, then you're caught up with it also. Or you're caught up in trying to fix what didn't work out quite right. Or then you get caught up in thinking about it. See? So the remnant of moments poorly met is a mind full of memories. But then you lay down in bed at night and you're swirling with what happened, plus upset, tension, nervousness, see? And so your body is all tense and you're thinking about what happened. Those are remnants of moments poorly met. See? So, technically, anything that you react to emotionally, it's poorly met. So if you get excited at a ball game, or you get excited when you hear something, or you see a sign that says something and it excites you, or it angers you a little bit, or it irritates you, some little irritation even. See, each one of those little emotional reactions involves you with the scene, with and so there's an altered state an altered reality between you and whatever you're reacting to, in which you are caught up. Okay? So I think I've made my point. I want to keep this video short. The heavenly state. Christ said, the heavenly state. Well, the heavenly state is standing back, not getting caught up. We all know, you've all heard the expression, to count to 10 or take a mental step back. If somebody's involved arguing with someone else, then you say, hey, chill out, or you tell them or chill, or tell them to take a mental step back and count to 10. Okay, take a step back, get the big picture. I'm sure you've done that yourself, especially at work. See, it's easier to be objective at work. It's easier to do that because you have a more professional, a more disinterested attitude, not so emotional as you are around home with your own family, for example. So at work, if someone comes with a problem, you don't necessarily react to it, although sometimes you do. See? Then at the end of the day, you feel drained, or you have all these memories. But sometimes you can handle it with poise and reason, and you just give an answer. Okay, here's what you do to solve it. There's what you do. See, very simple, cut and dry. Okay? Then at the end of the day, you don't have a memory, because nothing sticks, because you didn't mess it up. You didn't react. You didn't become emotional. When it comes to your own family, where you react emotionally, egotistically, pridefully. See, that's your Achilles heel. And resentfully. So you need to learn how to take a step back. So as you go through life, you are pre-armed with a little bit of mental distance. So you're not so you glide through life like a boat gliding through the water. See, without the water going in, the boat glides through the water. You have to glide through the day without reacting to so many things, without reacting at all eventually. Just glide through the day. Floating across the stage like a ballerina, or gliding through the water like a beautiful ship without any water getting inside. See? And so you probably need a little help because you don't know how to do that. You are so reactive, you have no idea. That's why you have millions of memories. Your brain is clogged up with all these memories because they're all from moments poorly met. Now, in order for those, for your, what would be the word to use? Like when you empty your cache. Like if you have something on your computer where you empty the internet cache and you get rid of the browsing history and you get rid of system files and you get everything, see, like that, right? Then your computer is now fresh for some more activity. Well, something like that needs to happen. It does happen naturally at night. You know that. You go to bed and you wake up the next morning, and if you're not upset and didn't have something really bad happen, then you're fresh for the new day, okay? But most of us, we don't wake up totally fresh. Those memories start coming back as soon as we get out of bed. Oh no, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Oh no, this happened, that happened. See? So here's what you need though. For all of those past millions of memories that you've accumulated from millions of moments not met quite right, met without a heavenly state of mind, met with emotions and getting pulled into things. Well, you'll need, the Spirit will help to clean those up for you. You can't do it yourself. It will just happen naturally. So first things first, you need to get the meditation, the proper meditation. See, not another meditation to escape into beautiful words or some humming or chanting or some mandala or some visualizing a beautiful lake with swans on it. No, nothing like that. See, all you do there is you're just creating another false reality, another altered relationship between you and whoever is leading that mantra or that chanting or whatever person or spirit is behind it. It's more trance, more hypnosis, more caught up, more emotions. See, pasting on good feelings over bad ones, but the bad ones are still underneath, and the good ones are false, based on a false reality. See. So what you need is something that helps you to stand back, to get a little distance, okay, and then to go out in the world without being upset, not so close. You had that when you were a little child. When you were a little child, you had it. Remember when you were a little child and you were sitting in the back seat, mommy or daddy were driving somewhere, and when you sat in the back seat, you heard mommy and daddy talking, okay, and you looked out the window and you saw buildings and people and dogs and cats and flowers and trees and lights, and it was marvelous to see all these things and you hear mommy and daddy talking, okay, but you lived in your own little world. Okay? It didn't impinge upon you. It didn't get inside. But what happened is later you became emotionalized, and before long the world came rushing in. The outside got on the inside. Okay? So now you need to re-find what you once had when you were a little child, which was very close to the heavenly state. Okay? So if you can learn to stand back, to get the little meditation that I have, I have several of them. I have the nice meditation that has 4 parts, and you get a couple of books with it. It's very nice. And if you just want to get started, put one toe in the water, and you get the free meditation. Okay, it doesn't cost anything. It's completely free, and it's very nice. Okay, try that. It's only 6 minutes long. To learn to have that little bit of mental distance. Okay. And then go through life without getting upset by everything, without reacting to everything, without becoming nervous and tense and so on. then you will be very close to that heavenly state. Okay? My name is Roland.